Hey guys, this is Jackson from Project Marketing, and this is exactly how I got my first ever client last week and how I got them on the first page with 100-page views within just our first week of working together. First, here's some proof that they're on the first page. Gutters in Geneva, Nebraska. This is where they're from. Top 10 best. Koenig Seamless Gutters, Koenig Seamless Gutters, Koenig Seamless Gutters, Koenig Seamless Gutters. Page visits, 100 new page visits. Here's my 4-step system to turn anybody into a client. First, cold call, initial outreach. Just follow this simple cold call script. It's like butter. You say, hey, hello. They'll be like, hey, what can I do for you? And you'll be like, hey, this is Jackson. Does this happen to be the owner over at XYZ Company? Yep. Alright, boss. Real talk here. There's some good and bad news to this call. Which one would you like to hear first? They're mostly going to say bad, but if they say good, you just do the next part. But the bad news is that this is obviously a cold call. But with that being said, the good news is I already built you guys a site, and being 100% honest, when I look you guys up, I couldn't find you anywhere. And 97% of people search online before booking. You can use Sarah as like a friend or your mom's friend if they ask. Had to shoot me your number, and I guess, do you see how that's like costing you jobs? Make sure to pause right here so it kind of emphasizes the problem. If no, obviously so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you've got 1 to 2 jobs a week, and 10 being you've got 10 employees, each doing $1 million a day, where would you say you stand? They're going to go lower because $1 million a day is unreachable, right? They're going to go lower, and then now you just objection handle from here and figure out how you can get them on to the next meeting. If they say, yes, they do see that's a problem, you kind of just give them a rundown. I'm like, yeah, long story short, Sarah told me to reach out, said you guys do great work, might need some social proof, and for a way to people to actually find your business instead of going with the next best option. So as I mentioned earlier, I created a highly converting website, 100% for you to take a look at. And then, yeah, you just basically go into booking them on a call. And then what I like to do is 15 to 20 calls of just discovery. Most of my cold calls are 30 minutes long if I book them. And then we got step 2, the actual website creation. I create it before the closing call just so that I can provide extra value on the closing call. And it increases my show rate because I send it to them 30 minutes early. Website needs. A lot of people just hear about SEO and they're like, oh, I'll do this fancy stuff. But there's way more to it. And a website needs SEO, LLMO, and GEO. GEO is Generative Engine Optimization, which is basically when you search something up on Google and Gemini gives you a result, that's kind of what GEO is. SEO is obviously you showing up on Google. That's like the picture I showed you earlier where he is first in everything. That's him because I specifically put tags. Meta tags is what they're called. I put them in there so that he would show up when I search those keywords. And then large language model optimization. This basically makes AI see you. This makes Claude, ChatGPT, anything that could potentially see you, it makes them see you. And then the new way to use Lovable. Everybody is using Lovable, so typical these days, where it's the same AI slop website over and over and over again. It's a big prompt, but if you put in all of your information and have AI generate a couple of decisions, it's going to be perfect, Reject all generic patterns, anything that's normal for AI to create. No standard hero services, testimonials, layout. No cookie cutter color schemes, no predictable animations, no stock photography vibes, no boilerplate copy, no industry standard navigation, no custom design trends. It basically just guarantees that it's not going to be the same every time. If you put in a different decision, it's going to make a different website. Yes, they can be similar, but my goal is to not make them the same like people do when they make websites on Go High Level. Execution rules, these are pretty simple. Then we get over to the closing call. Or actually, hold on. No. Use visual edits. Don't waste tokens. I mean, you can use a visual edit for I don't even know if it costs tokens anymore, but you can use a visual edit and edit it yourself. And instead of inputting that into Lovable, you're doing it yourself. right? Things that you don't need to use Lovable for. Closing call. Here's my 3-step framework to close anybody. First, rapport/discovery. You learn everything. Literally everything. I don't think I can say it any better. Every question you may have about their business, anything that you might think about their business, you give them suggestions, you learn about them as a personal, you learn where they want to be, you learn everything about them. Absolutely everything. Then, we go up to provide value. In that everything that you've learned, you've already seen a bottleneck. You've seen what they need, so now you just fix the problem. That's where the value is. You already have the done-for-you website, right? They can see it with their eyes, right? It's not like they're hearing that you may have a website. No, you made it, you showed it to them, you walked them through it, you already have value. This right here increased my close rate by 50% easy. Actually, it increased my show rate because people weren't even showing up to my calls before I started sending it to them early. And then a soft close. Pre-handle objections. If you get an objection early on in that discovery phase, you try and figure it out, but don't figure it out. Don't be like, they're like, oh yeah, I gotta talk to my parents, or I gotta talk to my sibling. Don't be like, no you don't. Make them figure out that the sibling is not what they need to talk to. It's actually their inner self to figure out that you are the one that they want to go with. And pre-handle objections makes it slide like butter as soon as you get to the close. When I closed the guy that you saw earlier for $500, it was literally like butter. He was like, yeah, so what are our next steps? And then I gave them to him. I gave him the contract, and I gave him the invoice. And then there's step 4. And then here's the top 5 things no one knows about web design. Just simple like AI web design. First, SEO doesn't do anything if that's all you have. You have to have the other things. You have to have LLMO, GEO, and everything else that may help. And you can literally just put it into Claude or ChatGPT and say, give me an in-depth, full prompt, do your own research, and then put all of that into your Lovable. Second, backend isn't needed most times. You can add a database, but most times you don't even need it. Like currently I have automations set through a webhook, not through a database. Third, AI slop does exist just to be content with a normal website. Build something you actually personally would buy. If you won't buy it, don't try and sell it. That's all I can say. Number 4, with SEO and all the other websites don't automatically show up on Google. They don't. It's just how Google works. You need to claim it, which is what I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you exactly how to do that. You need to claim it, and you need to make sure that those meta tags, which is how you create SEO and GEO and LLMO, that's how you do that, is via meta tags and things like that. And then also the thing I'm about to show you now, how to actually show up on Google. So go to a new tab, console. Hold on. So you'll go here, add a property, add the domain, say this is one that I have to do right now anyway, verifying. Then you click here, literally go into the DNS. If you've bought a domain, you know it's so simple. You go into the DNS, you click new DNS, you click TXT, you copy this and paste that in there, and then boom, it's done. You click verify and it verifies. It should be fairly simple, and then it'll come on here. It'll take a couple days to show up, but it will still show up eventually. You have to also make a sitemap inside of your Lovable prompt. To basically just say, also make a sitemap for all pages of this website. I personally do a 5 to 7 page website, so make a sitemap for all 7 pages of this website, and then give me the URL. And then you'll go here, you'll go sitemaps, you'll enter the URL. It'll take You make sure to publish it on Lovable, but it should be almost instant where it gets verified and succeeds. But yeah, that's exactly how you're going to get your first client with Web Design Agency. Have a wonderful day.